Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Karen Sky and I don't know what I'm doing, but you're still here and I'm still here, so let's get this going. First things first, this is my first time reviewing a piece of media like this. I have done minor reviews of some animes in the past, but that was all in a written form, so it didn't really fit in the same way that this does. So I'm just hoping that this goes well. In the background of this video will be a speed paint of me drawing Rumi, the main character of the show. I don't do fan art too often, so this was a little bit of a fun challenge to do. This review will just basically be a jumble of my thoughts. I will chat a little bit in the beginning and then just basically be going in depth. So, spoilers for the show, basically. It's somewhat scripted since I have some talking points, but it will be it will be free-flowing like this through all the points. If it does okay, I might think about doing more pieces of media like this, because this is more fun for me. Anyways, let's get this review going. First things first that I gotta say is that the music is absolutely fantastic, and has been stuck in my head for the past... When did I watch this? Like a week and a half ago? I watched it like a day or two after it came out, and it's just been... Everything has been stuck in my head ever since. I think the only songs that weren't has been Soda Pop, and I think that was at one point in Free. My favorite song is definitely What It Sounds Like. I really like the emotional beats of the song. Golden is a very close second, it is very well done. Idol is growing on me a lot, the more I hear it, the better it is. I'll explain this later, but I'm not specifically a fan of Free as a whole, mostly specifically the line of, like, Free! I did that so wrong, oh my word. But yeah, I'll explain that later once we go into the deep dive. The story, firstly, the story is very strong. It's a little rushed here and there, but it does what it needs to do to get to the point. The ending was very, very good. I'm not going to spoil it in case someone wants to go and watch it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's great. I really do enjoy it. Okay, time for the in-depth spoilers. Be warned, I'm basically going from the start of the movie to the end and ranting out my thoughts. So if you haven't watched it, go do that now, because this is going to be full of spoilers. Cool? Happy? So, the initial world... I can't speak today. The initial world building is really good. It sets up the story really well, especially with how exactly the powers work and how the generational storyline goes and things, and setting up who they are, basically, and how it's evolved over time. And that's a key thing of how it's evolved over time, because the whole point of the end is how it needs to evolve again, which we'll come back to. Firstly, K-pop Demon Hunters as a concept is just the most absurd thing, but for some reason it works. It just works. Why? Using the singing as a strength enhancing thing is also really cool for world building. It's not something that we see often. It's like literally being a bard, basically, and getting all your power and all that sort of stuff through singing. Really cool, and it makes so much sense for when you're building a musical, because then you have a reason for the characters to be singing, which is really cool. I'm going to say cool about 50 times in this, and I apologize in advance. Okay, now onto the characters. Firstly, Mira looks so good. Oh my word, she looks so good. She, like, both as a character and just as a very pretty character. I really like her design. She's really cool. They knew what they were doing with that design. Zoe's very sweet. Also, really like her design, and I love the backstory of her being an American and things. And from all the videos that I've been seeing, there's a lot of tiny little characteristics throughout the movie that shows her being a foreigner, basically, like, slightly. Firstly, she has no Japanese in her parts in the songs. She's not following proper customs and things in the start, which is cool. And it's like, it's tiny little things that allude to this sort of thing happening, which is fantastic. We love tiny little details like that. It doesn't need to be added, but it's just good, basically. One thing I would like to say, we talk at the start, they talk about like different characteristics of the different idols. And we see them talking about Zoe rapping and being very scary while rapping. I might be wrong in this, but from what I know, we don't really see her rapping in any way, shape, or form. Mira does most of it, especially in like Takedown and stuff. Mira does most of it. It's very random, and it's a very random pick, but someone can prove me wrong and show me a piece where Zoe is rapping. That would be fantastic. But she's not really like they say she's scary when she's rapping, and that's the only hint we get towards that. The opening food scene, the first time I watched it, it really threw me off. I did not expect how the humor was going to be in this, because at the start, that's not how the humor seemed to be. And suddenly we're thrown into this style of humor, which I wasn't a fan of at first, but it did grow on me. Yeah, the bit is a random one, but I am enjoying it. The faces that they make, though, are fantastic. The faces are great. Absolutely love the faces, everything throughout. They did so well with the animation, the style is so pretty, and then just the faces. The fact that the demons don't understand things, like the pouring coffee into the thing, and it's these tiny little things, and like, yeah, it makes sense, they're not gonna know what the fuck is happening. And then having the whole storyline in the background of them not having their ramyeon is great. Using that as a movement throughout a scene, it's so subtle. The first time I watched it, I didn't really notice that they were making ramyeon the whole time. So, good, good on them. And then you watch it again, and it's like, oh, wait, they're making ramyeon. That's cool. And then they eat the ramyeon, obviously, when the plane is falling apart. The plane falling apart was so random. The fact that they showed their weapons coming directly from the Hanmoon, she literally runs her hands over, and then the blade comes out from that to create the weapon, the blade. Oh, I love the wall balling of that, of it's literally coming, like their powers are literally coming from the Hanmoon. But it also shows that they are quite strong without their powers, without the weapons and things. They don't require the weapons, because the first, like, couple of seconds is them just fucking beating up the demons before they pull out their actual weapons, which it shows that they are strong without their powers. It's also very good. Anyways, moving on to how it's done as a song. It is a very good intro. It demonstrates them and their lifestyles very well. Obviously being high-end pop stars and that sort of thing. And what their focus is, like, they're so confident in themselves that they're not worried about the demons, they are more worried about their ramyeon. Good characterization, really interesting characterization, especially when the demons do eventually become a problem later. I can 100% agree that the hair, nails, blades, mascara, good check for my napalm era. That line. Ooh, it does tickle the brain. It does do well to tickle the brain. They put something in those lyrics. Also the lullaby part, the knock you out like a lullaby. I am in the wrong fucking key. That part. That one's also very good. I do really like, and the entrance. Such a cool entrance. Imagine having that kind of entrance on an actual stage. That would be cool. It wouldn't happen, but it would be cool. The other thing, Bobby is the best character, hands down. He's fantastic. Him being the stage manager of the band, and just being a good, nice guy is great. I love him. He's amazing. He's just amazing. There's no other way to put it. We then move down to the underworld, and we see Grima and stuff complaining about shit going wrong, basically. And we hear Gina's voice for the first time. Oh my word, he has such a good voice. His little song is so good, and I wish we had like a full version of it. That would be really cool. But it was, that was so good. And we see Derpy for the first time. Yes, his name's Derpy. The tiger's name is Derpy. They named the tiger Derpy. That's fantastic. But we see Derpy for the first time, and it's a very good introduction to Derpy as well, because we have him being the scary, ominous presence, and then obviously when he comes in later, we see that's not the case, but they keep that ominous presence until he's actually revealed, which very nice. One thing I can say is that Gino does know how to make an entrance. He really does. Him just coming in, singing a song, basically degrading Grima, and then bringing the boy band in, and just the poses. The poses. Those poses were great. And then the joke that, what do you think, what? What makes you think that this would work? And then just them all transforming into hot boys. And it's like, oh, yes, yep, that will work, 100%. That was comedy gold. That was great. That one had me cackling for a little while. Then we move on to them revealing Golden. Oh, Golden's very good. And revealing that Rumi has patterns and being part demon. That reveal was very strong. They did really well with it, and the isolation that she feels from it immediately just like panning to her being alone and her having not being with her friends. That was very good. It gives us a good idea of what the stakes are and what we're working towards, but it's also a little bit of a mystery because we don't know exactly what this means for the future and for the past and all that. We don't know exactly what it means until a little bit later where we actually see some backstory. The fact that the patterns and shame are causing her voice to disappear is really cool. I do like that as a world building thing of like, oh fuck, I'm running out of time, I'm running out of time, I'm running out of time, shit. That it does work very well. The one thing I can say that I find, it's a tiny little nitpick, but the fact that the singer is so damn good at singing that we can't hear her losing her voice. There's like 2 cracks that we can hear the whole time of her losing her voice. The rest sounds perfectly fine because the singer is just that good. And I was like, we need more cracks. We need more just like breaking down to show that she can't sing rather than, oh no, 1 crack type thing. Minor nitpick. It's just funny that the singer is too good for the for the thing. The fact that her voice and her rage affects the Hanmoon is such a tiny little touch that works perfectly. This will come up later again though, but I do wish that she reacted a little bit more to the ordeal. It seems, at this moment in time, it seems like this is the first time that she's seeing this happening, and it's just a case of minor shock. She's like, oh my word. Not, what the fuck? Like, it's not a breakdown after this of like, shit. She's not reacting enough to it. Being just, oh, that happened, rather than actually ingrained fear of what is to come and what she's turning into. It's just a tiny little bit of shock. Moving on. The scene and introduction that we have to the boy band and Genu specifically in the human realm and the Huntress introduction to them is really well done. The whole scene of Rumi just falling for what feels like 5 minutes. They did so much slow-mo in that scene, and I was laughing so much just by how much it was dragging on and the faces throughout the whole thing. And then him just brushing her off was the perfect ending to it. Then we obviously have Soda Pop come in, which I agree, is annoyingly catchy. Why is a song like that so fucking catchy? Anyways, Gigi brushing her off at the end with that was really nice. It was a nice little touch of just adding on to the bit of him just being like an asshole to her. Like, now that she knows, he knows as well. Like, it's great. The leather outfits that they wear just after this are sick, and I would love to cosplay them, or see anyone else cosplaying them. I want to see those. Those are cool. I like those outfits. They're great. The Coco at the end sent me while watching this. Oh my god, that was so funny. What was Zoe doing? Just going, Coco! The whole part in Want to Play a Game, whatever that show was called, it shows Genu being cunning a little bit, but also just being a goof. Because he has the whole thing of, he's like, knows that the Huntress is there and draws them into the crowd and knows how to fuck with them, basically. But also just being like, come play games with us! And like all the goofy little stuff, and him tripping and all that sort of shit. He's cunning, he's manipulative. but he's also just a dude. He's just a guy. He's just a guy who made dumb choices. His eyes, there's a tiny little frame when, after the Huntrix have like slidden down the slides, where his eyes change into demon eyes for like a brief second. I saw a video on it and it's so cool. I love that little touch. It's tiny moments like this. It's tiny moments. They just add these tiny moments and it just adds on. Great. Then Gino protecting Rumi when he finds out the secret was so nice. I did like that. That was good. It's an interesting idea that he believed this one ideal the whole time and he was just trying to get rid of the memories the whole time. That was his only goal, his only plan. He just had to beat Huntrix. That's all he had to do. But as soon as seeing that Rumi might be like him, might understand him in a little way, the switch flips in his brain and he goes to help her and help her in the situation. It's really cool, and I do like that flip in the relationship, and it's a very good flip. Bobby looking out over everything, obviously because Huntrix is just panicking. Bobby looking out over everything and saying it's not the end of the world, then for it to flip to the Huntrix looking over and the world is dying. Whew. Fantastic. I changed my mind though, I must say. I changed my mind. Bobby is the best human character. The Bird and Derpy are the best characters. Those guys are amazing. They're so great. Oh my word, they're so great. The sass of the Bird and Derpy just desperately needing to fix the plant and not being able to was fantastic. It went on for so damn long, but it was still perfect. The longer it went on for, the funnier it was. Moving on, Gino twisting the story in the way he did was good, because you can believe that he was a good man twisted to something else. And it makes us root for him. It makes us want to understand him more, and it makes us want to have Rumi and him together more. So it's a nice little touch that they had there. Then having the Saja boys sleeping outside of the building in the sleeping bags just to be in lines. They didn't need to show that. They didn't need to show them being outside sleeping in line. They could have just panned straight to them coming in. But no, they had like a 2-second scene of them being outside. Why? It's tiny moments like this that just make the story and make it fun. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. When Bobby is starting to question things and he sees the little thing of like, join the pride from the Saja boys, the propaganda from the Saja boys, I genuinely, when I first watched it, I thought that he was going to betray the girls and leave to go to the boys, and I'm so glad that he didn't. I'm so glad that he didn't. It's a nice little subversion that he didn't. It's a tiny little moment, but I'm glad that he didn't. With the fight and the first time seeing Takedown properly. Yes. First time seeing it properly. On the train. That whole introspection and the moment of Rumi basically fucking up and thinking too much in her own head and hesitating, leading to the destruction of the whole train and the loss of that whole train was dark. Oh my word, it was dark. And I wish more had been covered like that. Oh, it was... Because it's not... Rumi has a moment of introspection of like, oh shit, but then it never comes up again of like, the actual casualties of the civilians. There's not much introspection of that fact. And I wish there was a little bit more in the story. Because that moment was so good. Oh my god. So, moving on. Firstly, the whole Gino's line delivery of, I gave Rumi asking about the hat on the bird, and Gino's line delivery of, it was meant for the tiger, but the bird kept stealing it. His line delivery is perfect for that joke, and it is, oh, I love it. I love it so much. It was, that genuinely had me cackling for so long. It was so good. I can't remember when it happens, but also Derpy, like, being a nonsense this happens earlier, but Derpy being a nonsense and seeing the trash can fall over and needing to fix it is also just carrying on with that bit was very nice. Carrying on, back to where we were with Gina and Rumi. They're having like a heart-to-heart, and then they start singing Free. Firstly, Free is a very good song. I am not bashing the song in any way. I just don't personally care for it too much. I don't personally care for it too much. I feel like it comes a little bit too early. I feel like we haven't had enough development between Rumi and Ginu to be having these like deeper conversations and things. We've seen like 2 scenes, less than 2 scenes of them actually talking properly, and now suddenly we're spilling our guts out to each other and talking about how we can be free. I feel like their relationship developed very quickly, and I wanted to see a little bit more from that. Would have been nice, but I understand timing is not easy. So I know there's like an aquarium scene that was meant to happen. That would have been nice to have. That probably would have solved the problems. But yeah, I feel like it's a little bit too rushed. But yeah. The other problem is specifically the word free. I am dying it. Free, free. I don't know the time because I haven't heard the song in a while. Free. That, my brain doesn't like that song for some reason. It doesn't like, I don't know. I think I just need to listen to it more and I'll appreciate it more, but I don't really like the song in a personal sense. The one thing that is janky, so obviously we've just had Free, they're talking about all this. They're talking about this very much in the open. It's not like trying to be a secret in any way. So you think that Grima can't see what's happening in the human world, but then immediately Gino is pulled into the human world and Grima's just like, you can't leave. I know what you're talking about, you can't leave. And it's kind of weird that Grima can just know what's happening. There's no way to betray Grima, but how do we get anywhere without being able to betray Grima? Like, there's no give and take. There's no give and take in that. Like, obviously, what is happening? But it's like, he knows everything. He knows everything about Rumi. He knows all about that. He knows about him wanting to betray him. And it's just like, I don't know. Him knowing everything isn't great. I wish it was a little bit more of Gino fucked up and revealed something, or so on and so forth. Not just, I heard every single little conversation that you just had about being of this deep introspective things. Like, I know everything. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird. But anyways, I do, with that whole scene of Grima knowing everything, I wish we had seen Gino's backstory only revealed to the audience when it was revealed to Rumi later. I will come back to it, but I genuinely think it would have hit harder if it come later. It does show how selfish she is, and I do like that, but we know he's going to betray now, and it would have been nice to think that he isn't. Still. If that makes any sense. Like, believe in the same way that Rumi does. We want to understand what Rumi understands, so we believe that he is not going to betray her, but then suddenly betrays her, and then we can understand why. That reveal would have been better. Golden is absolutely fantastic. I think everyone can agree. I'm not going to say much else. It is just fantastic. It's very well done. The choreography is very good. Love it. The flippant takedown is also fantastic. And how it's being used as a song against Rumi now is quite fascinating. Because she's the demon, so they're like, obviously the demons, the fake Zoe and Mira are attacking her and using the basically propaganda against her. Very good. And also the detail of her immediately jumping into the choreo despite being confused is a nice touch, because obviously we've seen that happen in K-pop groups before with like the muscle memories and things. Jumping to a little bit later, when the real Zoe and Mira pull the weapons on Rumi, it makes sense, but it hurts. Oh, it's very good. And I love the tiny little subtle realization in their face of what they've just done, that they did just pull their weapons on Rumi. It's very nice. Her searching for Ginu and going and just flipping is great. Him just being like, fuck no. This is what's happened. Sorry. I just wish that this was the first, as I said earlier, this was the first time that we learned about his backstory, because then the reveal would have been so much more gut-wrenching, more than anything else, of he is actually just the selfish person, instead of it being revealed earlier. I think they could have taken out the earlier reveal and just plonked it in here, and it would have been so gut-wrenching, because then we feel the betrayal along with Rumi. Coming back to the screams from earlier distorting the Honmoon, she barely reacts to it. Why did she barely react to it? I would have made her so much more shocked and scared and actually, like, stumble away from her own voice instead of just standing there, doing nothing, having no reaction. I think it would have been so much better of just being actually physically scared of her own voice and what it's doing. Would have been so much better. Moving on. Selena's a bitch. She is such a toxic figure and it works so well, but she's still a bitch. Moving. That scene is very well done, and her just being like, kill me, and then understanding, like, nothing's going to change. Fuck you. I'm going to fix things myself. That's basically how that went. Idol, 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 my idol. Ooh, good. So good. That song is quickly becoming a top favorite. Also, Grima being the pyrotechnics is so dumb. Like, do you think they practiced him being the pyrotechnics? Like, the Saja boys all practicing all that sort of stuff, and you just have Grima dancing in the background. I'm like, is this good? Is this alright? Do you think this will work? One thing I do believe is that the change from Zoe and Mira coming into, this is what it sounds like. Zoe and Mira suddenly changing their mind. I think we needed one or two more scenes of them just questioning everything. Like, all we see is the tiny little subtle of, we just pulled our swords on Rumi, and then it's just Mira shouting at Zoe, and then they both get corrupted. There's no, like, tiny little bit of introspection of, what we did was fucked. How could we do that to Rumi? And then being corrupted, that kind of thing. Just a tiny little bit of that would have been better. Like, she is our friend. She's our friend. What have we done? We should listen to her first. And then, like, getting corrupted and that sort of stuff. I think that would have been a bit better than just immediately changing to, oh no, we're upset with her. Oh wait, we're no longer upset with her because she's singing. I think one tiny little extra scene would have been very good there. But anyways, it still works. It still works. It's a tiny nitpick. It still works. What it sounds like works very well for Rumi's character development. I do feel like the other two have had, like, tiny little character arcs, which they kind of had before. Not really character arcs. I wish they had proper character arcs. But Rumi, that song works perfectly for her character arc. And Grima very specifically realizing that this is the song that's powerful enough to take them down is really cool, and him just being like, not stop them, stop that song. Proving that this is strong enough, this is what's going to take him down. Random question though. How do they get their weapons when the Honmoon's been destroyed? Because we don't see the Honmoon being rebuilt yet when they pull their weapons out. From what I remember, I might be blatantly wrong, but from what I remember, the Honmoon is still destroyed when they pull their weapons out. So I am uncertain about that. I don't know. Because by the time, yeah. Anyways, Genu's death. I know a lot of people are upset about Genu's death. I can understand why. The ship is dead. Not really, but the ship is dead. It's pretty obvious that he'll come back in a sequel. But ship is dead, so people are sad. They can't have a happy ending. But Genu's death is the perfect culmination of his character. It is the absolute perfect culmination of his character, because he was a selfish twat who only ever thought of himself. How do you fix that? How do you fix that? By making him completely selfless and standing up in front and dying for someone else. After 400 years, he dies for someone else. He is no longer a selfish twat. That is the perfect resolution for his character, I believe. And also, I would not be surprised. Like, it's obvious. If there's a sequel, I really hope there's a sequel. If there's a sequel, he'll come back. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back in a way similar to Angel Beats in the end, where it's kind of like, oh, I recognize your soul type thing. Like, they cross paths on the street, and Rumi turns and is like, oh, my word. If anyone knows the scene that I'm talking about, congrats. Angel Beats is fantastic. Go watch Angel Beats. It's a very good story. Don't be confused by the first couple of episodes. It's very weird. Anyways, moving on. That's basically the end. That's what I'm going to talk about in the storyline. Random things. The fight scenes are so well choreographed and very fluid and very good. They did not need to be that good. They are so good. Oh, the fight scenes. The fight scenes are so fun. I want to recreate the fight. The fight scenes are so fun. As I said earlier, I do feel like there could be a couple more scenes to flesh some things out, but overall, the story is very good, and it does what it needs to do. That's the main thing. It does what it needs to do. It's really fun. The music is fantastic. The fight scenes are fantastic. The characters are very good. The designs, the animation, top notch. I really hope there's a second one. I don't know what they'd do, but I really hope there's a second one. They've got a lot of ideas and storylines that they could take it, and I hope there's a second one. It would be really nice. Anyways, that is everything for today. I hope that all makes sense. If you enjoyed, please do consider subscribing and leaving some likes, some comments, whatever. Tell me what your favorite part of the movie was. If you have a favorite part, if you don't, tell me what you think of Derpy and the bird. Derpy and the bird, oh, amazing. I love those two. Anyways, if you enjoyed, see you all again soon. This is Karen Sky, signing out. Cheers.